Greetings friends and fellow cigar box guitar enthusiasts. Del Puckett here, and in this video we're going to accomplish two things. I'm going to kill two birds with one stone, with one video. The first thing is I wanted to show you kind of what I got going on here. A buddy of mine, a shout out to Bo, gifted me with this guitar they found. I think they had it laying around for years and years and years. Anyhow, so look at the action and the neck on this thing. Okay, this is like, yeah, so you can tell this guitar has been just sitting. Hello. Oh my gosh, it's resonant. Resonant, check. Yeah, super resonant body. The neck is going to need to be destroyed. There's no way I can salvage that neck. So what I was thinking, because I was looking at this thing, because he says, hey, do you think you could do anything with this? And I'm like, not really. I mean, it's pretty beat up. But then I got to looking at these F holes. And I got to thinking, man. And then I started looking at the body of this thing here. And it's solid. And I'm like thinking, maybe I can do something. Maybe I can just take this neck off. Maybe salvage some tuners. I got 3 in a row there. And then just create a whole nother neck and just stick it in there, tune it up. Now, I did measure this thing here. This is a 26-inch scale instrument. So 26 inches from the saddle to the nut. So that's with this neck. If I did a different neck, for example, my own, I already measured it again. If I did a 24-inch, I would get the octave right here at the edge right here, and then that's where the saddle would go here, because I can't move this saddle. I mean, I could if I maybe release the hot glue on it, but the saddle is glued on there. So if I'm going to go with that saddle position, I need to be very, very, very careful about getting my nut exactly in the right spot, right? Because since I can't move this thing, I'm going to have to nail it right off the bat. So, and if I can't nail it, then I will probably have to figure out a way to destroy this thing, which I don't want to do. So I want to be a little bit proactive there. So that's the first half of this video. The second half of this video is going to be an actual cigar box guitar lesson featuring this guitar here. This is my, I forgot what I know. Oh, the charcoal caster. I just rubbed everything. I rubbed this thing with charcoal everywhere, and that's why it looks so distressed. I'm going to be hanging this guitar here real soon at this PADRES cigar shop located in Corrales, New Mexico. If you want to go online and see them. In fact, there might be a link in the video description below. But this guitar will be for sale if you want to drop in there. But I am going to give you a 3-string cigar box guitar lesson on triplets. So if you want to bypass the destruction video of this awesome guitar and you want to just fast forward to the lesson, do that now, because the first half of this video we are going to be doing this bad boy. All right, let's get this train rolling. First things first is take the strings off. There's a couple of ways to take off strings. First way, is to just take them off that way, right? Second way is to break them. See this line right here, man? You better wear some eye protection, man, because that sucker's gonna pop you in the eye. Hang on one second. Don't go anywhere. All right. Okay, we are ready for destruction. Oh, I'm scared. Forget that thing. I'm just gonna do it with my fingers. Here it goes, guys. Yeah, come on, seriously? Yikes. That's the second way to do it. Here's another way to take strings off. Just get your favorite pair of snippers. Let's see here, where do I want to do it? Right in the middle? On your marks. Get set. Yeah, see, that's a lot safer right there. All right, done. One and done. Now you got all this stuff here. Make sure you put this in the trash. So I got to looking at this thing. I got the strings off, and I'm not really sure exactly how to take it off. It's super loose. Watch, check this out here. See, it's like I could just break it off, but I don't want to risk breaking the body. So I was going to get my chainsaw and then put this in my vice grip and just do it just for theatrics, because that would make a great video, right? Taking a chainsaw to a guitar. And if today was tomorrow, I actually might do that. But I don't know. I don't know if I don't think there's a truss rod in here. I don't know. I can't tell. I'm guessing that there's probably not. Now, guys, I know you guys, there's people out there that know exactly how to properly disassemble this, and I apologize because I'm going to probably do everything wrong, and you're probably going to cringe or whatever. And I get it, dude. So my disclaimer, my apologies, is that I'm not a real luthier. I'm just kind of a fly by the seat of my pants, kind of a hack kind of a guy. So I know this is probably not the right way to do this, but I'm just going to grab this thing here and just try to rip it off here. Okay, yeah, so that kind of exposed that. And like, it's still loose. I can feel it's still loose. So maybe it's just a knot. It's not coming up, so I'm going to have to get out the power tool, dude. All right, this is as power as it gets for a number of reasons. Number one, I don't want to make sawdust. Number two, it's got a pretty good blade on here. So this is second best. Not quite the theatrics of a chainsaw, but you still kind of get the gist, right? So gosh, I hope I don't hit a truss rod. If I do, no big deal. It's just the blade of this thing, right? I am not worried about it. So I'm getting as close as possible, about maybe a 1/4 inch away from the body, because I don't want to scratch the body. Just like that, kids. Okay, there's no truss rod. Look at that. Glue it back together. Nope. Okay, so yeah, I'll be able to salvage these tuners. Absolutely. No doubt. And I was thinking it would be nice to put a scarf joint on the new neck for this bad boy. And maybe just reuse these tuners. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. So at this stage of the game, I still need to get this guy out. It's loose, but it's like firm. It's like wedged in there. So I'm just going to dig it out. So like I said, I'm sure that there's probably proper ways to do this. I'm just going to dig it out. Came out in like a chunk. And you can see the glue joint in there. All right, so now what? So I was just thinking of just cutting it out and then just making a hole big enough for my neck to go in there. I do have a little bit of a curve radius here, right here. So if I could jam that neck as far up inside of that thing as possible, through the hole I create right here, I'll be able to create the neck to play this thing on. All right, that's the goal anyway. That's the goal. So I wanted to go with a scarf joint on this guy, and the scarf joint is when the neck goes back like that. It kind of falls where there's like this angle right here. So what I did is I got my square here, and I looked it out, lined it up, and it looks to me like that neck is right on the 11-degree mark. I looked at it, it's like maybe 12 degrees. Very subtle. So what I did in a few videos back is I built one of these little, maybe it's called a little jig, and I built this for my table saw. It's a little sled on this side. Just a regular, you've seen these like cross-cutting sleds, right? So all I did was I kind of screwed this little wooden piece into it. And all I did is I just lined this thing up here. This is like my guide here on that 10-degree angle. And then I just use clips to hold the board in place. I have whole videos just discussing this and showing demonstrating how to build this thing and how to use it on the table. So I don't want to go into it on this video here, but you can definitely see it. In fact, I'll put it up here in the top here. The jig for the scarf joint. So I did put a scarf joint on here. Now, before I put the wings on it and make it fat, before I do that, I want to carve the neck here, because once you put the wings on, then you can't put it on the router table. It won't snug up here. Right, so do your neck carving first before you glue on your, I call them wings. They're just the pieces that make this wider, that you can carve and make them all decorative. And then I also glued the heel on. And I made sure that all my frets I was gonna have all my frets. I made sure, I measured twice and cuss once. Put the fretting thing on there, and then I measured it where it was gonna be on here so that the saddle is in the right spot. Okay, we covered that stuff. That's important stuff. I'm making sure that you make sure, that we all make sure that these are the important things to keep in mind. Guitar making is serious science, guys, serious. You need to be serious. Speaking of that, it's getting hot in here. I think I'm going to transform from a Gibson guy to a naked guy. Sorry, guys. All right, there you go. Now I can breathe. Okay, next. Now I just need to carve a hole in there so that that neck can go in there. So this is what I did. Got me one of these spade bits, and I'm just going to start gouging it out. Rinse and repeat. Kind of give it a wiggle, kind of wallow it out. I think I'm gonna get a bunch of sawdust in there. But anyhow, so that's just the beginning there. We're gonna start chiseling this dude out to the right dimensions of the butt side of this guy. Using a Sharpie, kind of marked out, just kind of a rough. I found a jigsaw. Dude, these things are awesome. People use these things to make puzzles with. Now I'm just gonna go for it. So far, so good. Alright, so what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a series of these little notches like that and then chip it away, because I can't turn my saw. It's so thick, man. It's about definitely over an inch, maybe an inch and a quarter thick. There's a block right there, so I'm just going to take my time, just notch that thing out and then chisel it out with a chisel. And I'll use a file to cover this up here. But I was looking in there, and there's a piece of bracing all along right here and here, so I'll be able to slide that neck perfectly up against that inside. But I was looking in there, it's like, my gosh, there's all sorts of wood chunks and sawdust and dude, spider webs. Spiders would get inside this hole. Yeah, there's like a spider's nest over here, right there. Big old spider web. But it's pretty cool in there. Pretty cool. Here's a little teaser. Like this major chord up here. Isn't that cool? Just a weird. So that's kind of an interesting little thing with these little fret spacings. The next thing I did is I did the back angle, just like I do on all of my guitars. Now this one here, because this does have like a curved radius and it is technically higher here than it is over here. I don't know if you can see that here, but it is. It's like got a curve, and so it's, on the inside it's higher here. And I did look on the inside, and there are these braces. I know you can't see them, but there's these braces in there, so I'm having to navigate around them. So I had to cut this guy, and if I would have known how long it would have been, I would have made this piece a little bit longer, because it only comes up to about here. It doesn't go all the way to the back. But if I tilt it back here, like forward and up and back, I can hear it hitting right up into here. And so I had to kind of whittle it back and forth to get my back angle such that the action was going to be right where the saddle is. So took a little bit of patience and carving and stuff like that, but I think that's going to be good. It's going to get me in the ballpark anyway. This will be just a little bit higher, be just like that. And so if I let the guitar rest on there, I can actually see this angle right here, which is going to be, it's going to be just about perfect. So next is going to be the fretboard. So let me take you over here to the fretting station right here. For those of you who've been around this channel for any length of time, you know that I have this fret slotting jig here. This is just the electric, it's the Chicago Electric Power Tool 4-inch Mighty Mite table saw. I got this at Harbor Freight years ago. And these things are, man, this is a go-to tool right here. It does have a 4-inch blade and a 1/2 inch arbor. The thing about this one here, these blades are hard to find and probably a tad bit expensive here. This one was a gift. I think I got it from Malco, but there's also that company called Penn, P-E-N-N. I know they do saws. The main thing you want to get is the 4-inch blade with a 1/2 inch arbor with a 0.23 kerf. That's the thickness. That's the perfect thickness for the fret to slide into. And then I just built this little sled. Kind of goes over the top. It's got this little slot right here that I can slide over the blade. And then I just adjust the blade height to be the right depth for the fret. And then we get our template, and then double side sticky tape this to the ugly side, that way the pretty side is up. And then you just zing, 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 zing. Now this is my least favorite part of the whole process, so I always find myself procrastinating and putting it off, and I'll get to it eventually. And so today is that day. We're going to fret this, and I think I have an interesting fret pattern that I'm going to use on this guitar, so stick around and check that out. All right, for the fretting, I went with a new proprietary fret spacing. I go from 1 fret to 2 frets to 3 frets to 4 frets. Check this out. So for the frets, I'm going to use medium highs. And just a quick reminder, I do get all my frets, everything from cbgitty.com. And if you use my link in the video description below, you'll help support this channel and use my promo code, and you can get discounts on goodies. 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off. Right, so next we're going to put the wings on. Remember, you carve the neck, or you do your radius here if you're going to use a router table before you do your wings, because that way you can get your router table. If you put the wings on it, then the router table won't get it here, and you'll have to end up filing that. So do your routing of your neck first before you glue on your wings. One of the tricks to making your cigar box guitar builds, or any kind of builds for that matter, how to look rustic, is you just leave all your materials as rough as possible. For example, when I lived in Portland, Oregon, a lot of times, like, I would ride my bicycle back and forth to work. Well, I would find these abandoned sticks, right? They're like made from Doug fir, which is a local tree there in the Pacific Northwest. Dude, this wood is amazing. Oh my, dude, it gets petrified, dude. But anyhow, so yeah, so I found some of these sticks. Now, if you can see here, you can still, there's concrete and mud still on that, on the front and the back. Okay, so I just leave that stuff on there. I overemphasize. You got to leave it rough. And then when I was cutting for the, I think I was cutting for the scarf joint. Yeah, I was cutting for the scarf joint here. And I got some wood chips up in here. So I filled it in with some of that wood putty. And then I got a sharp straight edge and just kind of made it, while it was wet, I just kind of flattened it out, right? So I'll maybe just hit that with a little bit of sandpaper. But again, I want it to be like a feature, right? It's not a character flaw, it's a built-in feature, right? So it's actually part of the overall aesthetic. I mean, come on, look at what was on here previously. Okay, so you could tell obviously somebody had Sharpied that and then shellacked it. They did a good job. You know, they did a real good job. It's held up over time. You know, look at these tuners here. Yeah, so these tuners will definitely recycle. And you know what I was thinking? Because I saved, well, I say saved, I didn't destroy this part here of the neck. And this is, like I said, this is a 20-inch scale instrument. So what I was thinking about doing, obviously putting a nut on there, is just either building a huge big old box, 26 inches, and just have just these frets up here. So just, you know, that would be like the ultimate bass. You're only have these frets, which is, I mean, you use these are your main frets, right? Come on. So, you know, maybe if I want to, I could just put, you know, a couple of frets up here just to be at the octave, whatever. But something to think about. Something to think about. You gotta, I'm gonna recycle this somehow, right? Because it's like the perfect. I mean, it's already prefabbed, right? So we're good. We are good to go. Now, I do have a box full of like shims and extra pieces from fretboards, just kind of a collection of different sizes and shapes of extra pieces, because you never know when you're going to need these things, right? I'm a hoarder. I can't throw this stuff away. Well, good thing, right? Good thing, because I found the perfect thickness, and I just cut it right in half. This is like probably from a back angle, a severe back angle. And so, dude, it's a perfect. And so all I'm gonna do now is just glue it, let it dry. And then once I get all that stuff, then I'm gonna start doing my final carve and sand and polish and all that stuff. I did use this awesome tool here. And again, I get this at cbgiddy.com, link in the description. This thing here is such a time saver. Instead of, you know, taking all the time to file back and forth and over the top. And, you know, this thing here with one fell swoop, you get those nice little edges taken care of so they're nice and smooth. Yeah, this is a pet peeve of mine right here, dude. It's gotta be smooth like butter. Butter. These clamps I inherited from my father-in-law. They are old school. So yeah, so I love the opportunity whenever I can to use these things up, man. Look at that. All right, a quick shout out to the winners of the silent auction. The highest bidders were Joseph Cura for the resonator and James Hightower for the F-hole slider. Both of the contestants Both of the winners are going to get the Puckett Cigar Box T, which is modeled after this bad boy here. I don't know if you can see, notice the resemblance. Anyhow, thank you, James and Joseph. These guys will be in the mail shortly. And just a reminder that the proceeds of this stuff is going to go help the flooring in the fellowship hall of the church. So it's going to go to a good cause. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for participating. Now that the glue has dried, now we are ready to start carving. Now that we are all carved and contoured, now we are going to sand. Now, I could really sand this thing, buff it all, make it look all nice. But since we are going to be pairing this thing with this guy, I mean, it looks a little beat up, right? So I don't want this thing to look all pretty and this thing to look all trash, right? So I want to just kind of do a matchy thing here. So that means I'm not going to be sanding it perfect. I'm going to be leaving some of these character flaws in there, like the cement and the wood filler, and then just the old grunge from on here. You know, it is going to be smooth and playable and stuff like that. But when you look at it, you're going to look at it and go like, "Dang, dude, that looks awesome." Now we are cutting or drilling the holes for the tuners. Now, of course, I get my tuners from cbgiddy.com. Link in the video description below. What I do here is I measure. First off, I just determine my string spacing, and as you know here, I do have a little template here, and that's basically 1 inch. So it's ½ an inch in between the strings there, and I just mark it out here. And then get my little file and file those little notches in here. That's just to hold the strings in place while you wiggle. Now, because this is a scarf joint and I have my angle here, I don't need to put one of those little string catchies here because I have sufficient downward pressure on the 0 fret here to hold the strings in place. But what I wanted to mention here was how I determine where to cut this thing here. And so all I do is I just measure straight from my little notch here. I just measure straight, and I want the string to wrap around, so that tells me where the post is. So I just visualize it straight down, then mark it with a little dot. Now these tuners here have a 3/8 inch shaft here on the bottom. So all I do is I just get a 3/8 inch bit, and I use these little spade bit, and I go halfway on this side, and then halfway on this side, and then meet in the middle, and that way I don't get any splintering here. Now there's probably various methods. I guarantee you probably have a better method than I do, but you know, I am a redneck, and so I kind of do things on the fly here. Now, I do recommend your reading glasses, just so you can see what the heck you're doing. Oh, I'm off camera. Sorry, guys. And you want, obviously the main thing is you want to be perpendicular. You don't want to be at an angle, right? You want to be perpendicular to the plane. Okay, we're not quite halfway yet. There you go. We're coming out the back side here, so that tells me I'm halfway through. Just like that, kids, we got our holes for our strings. Yay! Tuna. And see how this thing's got like a redness to it? I figured since that's the case, I'm going to use this gun stock. And the reason being is because it's got, from what I remember, it also has like a little red tinge to it. So we are going to confirm. Actually, you know what? I'm not even going to confirm. I'm just going to dive right in on this guy here. Let me get an applicator. And I got these Q-tips when I was working at Intel, and they work actually great. So mix. Yeah, and I can tell that this is going to be a match made in heaven. And so what I'll probably end up doing is staining this thing. Oh yeah, look at that. Come on, guys, that's perfect. I'm going to do this, and then I'll sand it some more to kind of give it that oldie distressed look. So yeah, that's gonna be nice, man. That's gonna be real nice. Don't you just love the smell of stain? I do. It's gonna shorten your life. Maybe. Wow. Gun stock. Okay. The nice thing about stain is it covers a multitude of sins. Yeah, if you don't get things quite exactly right, it's okay. You just cover it with stain, right? Cover it with paint. All right. I managed to do that without getting my shirt messed up. It's not like you can mess up this shirt anymore. This is my holy shirt. Look, watch all these holes here. Look at that. It's my holy shirt. Now, the consummation. Okay, so this thing here is going to, it's hitting on the inside of the top of this thing right about here. So I'm thinking I'm just gonna have to put one of the big old fat ugly screws right here and just suck it up. And that'll be it. So what I need to do is measure to see how far this guy's gonna go, so I can make sure that my, yeah, so right above that little tail piece there. All right, let's do it. All right, well, if you made it this far in the video, congratulations, you have issues. So as you can tell by now, we are just figuring this out as we go along, right? So this was a success. The underside of the top of the guitar, boom, is in contact with the top side of the heel going through there, because when I looked in that little hole, I could see it. I lined it up perfectly and just pre-drilled it and then screwed it up so it's nice and snug up underneath there. And while I could tell it's solid, this is solid. The only thing is that this back side here. Okay, so if you look here, there's a little gap here on this side and a little gap on this side. That's not that big of a deal, but if you look here, I can wiggle it back and forth ever so slightly. It's snug, but see how I got a little bit of wiggle room there? So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna drill a hole right here. It's gonna go through this little void right here and then up into this here and suck it down, because there is a block underneath there. There's a block of wood. So I'm gonna take advantage of that block of wood, just pre-drill a hole, line it up, and then just get a screw that's perfectly long enough just to suck this neck down into the block. So again, we're just making this up. The other thing here is that I'm gonna have to cut another hole inside of these for the strings. I'll be able to use the A and the B string slots here. Just put another one right in the center, and that should be good. My saddle is going to determine where the strings are as far as the spacing goes here. This has nothing to do with that, but it's pretty close already. You know what I'm saying? But it's going to be the saddle that determines my string spacing over the neck. Either way, it would be perfect, I do believe. Close enough. The other thing I wanted to point out here, not only did the frets go 1, 2, 3, 4, not only that, but the spaces go 0, 1, 2, 3. All right, so that's gonna make things easier in the future. Fortunately, I have one of these long skinny drills. It's an 1/8 inch. And yeah, because these guys, they won't fit. They'll only go a certain depth, right? They won't get into this neck wood here. So we're going for this real long drill bit. Now I did measure down how far I wanted it to go down, and then how deep into the neck. And then I just marked it off with some tape here, so when this thing spins around, I'll know exactly how deep or when to stop so that I'm perfectly at the right depth. So, wish me luck. Yeah, just like that. All right, now for find the exact right thickness of screw for that guy. So I found a little 3-inch screw, and then using the grinder, I ground the tip down so it'd be the exact right length that I need, and it's the right thickness too. It's the right length and thickness to secure this bad boy now. And just like that, we're going to secure solid. So like usual, I've got the 44 tuned to E, 34 tuned to B, and the 26 tuned to E. So it's EBE. Now I just spent like the last hour adjusting this saddle so it would have the right height. And it's basically just a saddle. And I had these 2 little notches carved out, one for the bolt, because this actually was higher. I kept filing it down. So finally it's just resting on the top part of that saddle. And I did dark stain it with that gun, but I've been playing around with it so much I kind of wiped it off, so I need to restain it again. But it's real important to get this thing in the right angle, or else your notes are not going to sound good. And so what you do is you tune it up, and then you strike the harmonic here at what would be the octave, the 12th fret. I don't have anything marked yet, but it's basically halfway point between the 0 or the nut and here, and exactly halfway. So that this distance should be the same. So you tune it up, and then if it's flat or sharp, you adjust this thing to get it perfect, and then play your chords and make sure it sounds perfect also, especially at the 12th fret. Here you just gotta listen. It's the same when you put your fingers on it, and then when you take it off. So you gotta make sure your strings are stretched, that you're in tune, and then you do this. And then if not, then you adjust this thing till they're all in tune. Once you do that, then you're good to go. So here's some of the advantages of this little fretting system. Obviously, everything open. It's going to sound good. So you have basically 4 spots open. Then the second spot, this is the second spot, and it's got 2 frets. Second spot. So you combine that with the open and you get so that's the first spot and the second spot. Now we're going to move to the third spot. Okay, this is the third spot. It's kind of like the middle. Now it's right here where you can get all of the chords, right? You get the open chord, and then you get what they call the 4 chord. And you get also the 5 chord. And you can walk it down. you get your like your rhythm parts up here in the middle. 5 chord, 4 chord, and of course you can do all sorts of licks just by like. You can have all sorts of fun. Do patterns. Just do random stuff, whatever. Okay, so you got the first part, the second spot, the third spot, and now the fourth spot. So the fourth spot. Kind of put them all together, right? You can jam over here for a while. Now we're going to go up to this spot. Back to this spot. So again, you got to exploit these guys here as one group, a group of 4, and then these guys here as a group of 3, then these guys here as a group of 2, and these guys here as a group of 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, like I promised, guys, I was going to do a lesson on the 3-string cigar box guitar. So let me grab that here. Don't go anywhere, and I'll be right back with the lesson for you. All right, well, congratulations, you guys made it to the end of the video where I promised you at the beginning of this video I was going to give you a lesson on the 3-string cigar box guitar. All right, so this is it. And I hope you're not disappointed because the concept is really simple. It's just called triplets. And what I mean by triplets is that we're just going to play triplets everywhere. So you say, what's a triplet? Well, everybody knows row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Well, that merrily part, merrily, 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 that merrily part, that's triplets. Triplet, 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 triplet. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Dun, 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 dun. So you kind of got to get that in your head. It's like one little thing. And so you merrily, 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 merrily. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So like you kind of put an accent. You can put accent anywhere. This one here for this example, I'm just putting the accent on the 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So you don't even count it, you just feel it. What's kind of cool is that now you can start doing your little licks, just 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. It's kind of simple, guys, but seriously, if you just kind of dive in and kind of embrace it and just assimilate it, and I'm telling you guys, it'll liberate you. It'll unlock your inability, right? I mean, it's simple, right? 1, 2, 3, boom, 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 boom. Just repeat it. Just drive that sucker home. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. This guitar here, this is the very last guitar I built when I was in Portland, number 400. And I've been keeping this thing around. It's beautiful. The pickups are from Smoking Notes. And those guys, they put my name and everything in there. This is really nice. This is one of my favorite. This neck was gifted to me by the late and great Hal Burwinkle. And I tried to do it justice. I had to refret it. And, but look at that inlay work. Isn't that awesome? Just awesome. So anyhow, guys, I do have this guitar for sale on my website. And I price it high so that no one buys it. In the meantime, I'm just going to play it. Yeah, very inspiring instrument. It does have the single coil in the down position here and the embedded piezo in the up position. And yeah, it plays like a dream. All right, guys, be sure to check all my video links in the video description below, and promo codes for all of your cigar box guitar needs. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for putting up with me and my antics, and I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll see you in the next one. Seriously, guys, so much fun. So I figure some of you are going to ask, which frets are these? So it's the open, the 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 10, 12, 15, and 17. It's basically the pentatonic scale with an extra note here and an extra note here. And of course, I like to take advantage of these jumps and go. So yeah, pentatonic scale plus the 2nd fret and the 6th fret.